Hey everybody, Linity here. Welcome to my healthy keto mukbang. I have prepared this wonderful feast for me here. It's a steak week this week, so I'm trying to learn to cook steaks, and I cooked 2 steaks in the grill. I'm gonna see in the oven grill how they turned out. Also my favorite pickled vegetables, very simple, very quick for a lazy vegetable side. Also have some desserts in the fridge I'm gonna bring out. As usual, I can't wait to dive right in. These steaks smell delicious. I hope they also turn out to be as delicious to eat as they smell. First things first, prayer and affirmations. Thank you, God, for this wonderful life you're giving me, for this wonderful change you said before me. Thank you for the food you said before me. Thank you, God, so much for making me strong, successful, and great. Now this food will let my benefit. My muscles grow strong in the mighty name of Jesus. My fats diminish in the mighty name of Jesus. I succeed and prosper in Christ Jesus. I am victor in Jesus Christ. So much, I give you all the praise in Jesus' name. Amen. Right, I can't wait to dive right in and check if these steaks are properly cooked. So this looks nice. It's a bit pink inside, as you can hopefully see. Let's taste. And it tastes good as well. Let's have this one. This is a bit too much cooked to my liking. Still good, but I really have to find a way to cook it like less inside and more outside in the grill. Because I want to achieve medium raw or medium here. But this is more like medium well. As you can see, it's still pink, but it's like barely pink. Well, I want it to be even more pink. And this is also barely pink. Like barely. And of course, these pickled cherries are simply delicious. Today, I actually want to talk about the topic I come across all the time. Like, I do cooking, eating streams on Twitch, and people, since I'm like focused on healthy food, healthy home food, keto, people often ask me like how many calories should I consume to lose weight, to stay on time, like on my current weight, or am I consuming too much calories if I consume this much calories with this kind of lifestyle? So, oh my god, it's so good. I really like how it turned out in the grill. So I want to talk about this and to say it outright, up the front, calorie counting does not work whatsoever. It doesn't. Like, so many people do it. Hope to use it to gain weight, to lose weight, to navigate their weight loss, weight gain journey. It doesn't work. So these are a very good grass-fed steaks, as obvious. In Russia, I only have one supplier who provides grass-fed steaks. It's like, it's a healthy way to eat steak, right? So the steak can be grass-fed or grain-fed, and grain-fed is more tasty. It's more like gentle, it's easier to chew, it's more pleasant to eat, but it's way more like full of all this crap. It's very unhealthy. Since the cattle has to be fed antibiotics, so it survives on this unnatural form of feeding. It has a very bad profile of omega-3, omega-6 in the fats that the cattle accumulates. There are so many issues with grain-fed. Just grass-fed is the way to go if you want to live long and prosper, basically. But the quality in Russia of all the steaks is quite bad. This is even worse. It's like so random. what you get in the package. Like, this is striploin, this is ribeye, right? And for example, here I have thing I can't chew. Like, it's literally an edible piece here. You just can't chew it. You cannot, like, literally, you can only swallow it or spit it out. Otherwise, it's quite good. So let's say you want to count calories, right? You have this steak right here. On the package it says how much protein and fat is there per 100 grams, right? Well, these steaks, striploins, are supposed to have a thick layer of fat here, as evident, right? A thick layer. It's almost non-existent. So some of them will have a thick layer, some of them will have a thin layer. And naturally, for grass-fed, it's going to be less fat, more muscle. For grain-fed, it's going to be less muscle, more fat. But the numbers are identical on both the packages. Why? Well, just because a striploin has a certain typical protein and fat count, which we plaster on the label of the product. They don't care. It's a grass-fed steak, so it has less fat. Then again, some of these will have a huge piece of fat on the side, like they're supposed to. Some will have a small piece of fat. A big difference in calories, because fat is is the largest in terms of calories. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, right? So if your steak has a thick layer of fat on it, yeah, it's almost like it's medium well. It's almost well done. It's actually bad. It should be almost medium, but it's still pink inside and it's still very good. Right, so you buy it, right? You have this number on the package. It's completely off. It can be off by 20% here or there, really, even more. It can easily have more or less calories than it says on the package. It can have more fat than it's supposed to have, generally. It can have less fat. That's how the calories can change. So immediately you have this difference. But then you cook it, right? You add some oil to it. Do you measure the oil? Let's assume you literally measure the oil on the spoon. You know the oil sticks to the spoon? Like if you use a measuring spoon for the oil, just make an experiment. Weight the spoon, put some olive oil, weight the spoon again. You will see it gain several grams. So you're not precise there. Also, how many droplets of oil escaped while you cooked? You don't know. How much oil is left in the pan? You don't know. With some mustard, it's awesome. Let's try some hot sauce next. Yeah, it's a bit more pink on the inside. The outer layer was more cooked. The inside is way better. So here you also have a difference. You can have more or less calories depending on how it was cooked, how much oil escaped, how much oil is left in the pan. You don't really measure the pan, right? You don't really weight the pan before and after. You just cook your steak and you either take into account the amount of oil you put or you don't. Either way, another inaccuracy. But then, it says 18 grams of protein in the steak per 100. Do you think it means it only has 18 grams of muscle in this piece of meat? You literally see this meat, it's all red when it's raw, right? A bit of white, a lot of red. So all this red is water and protein. So it must have way more protein, right? Why do they say it has so little protein? Because there's the term bioavailability. You cannot really consume all this protein 100%. You only convert some of it to protein. You have an efficiency. You don't consume all of it as protein, you can only process part of it. So from this 100% protein, you get like 30, 40, whatever percent. That's why from this big piece of meat, you only get like 18 grams of protein. But from the scoop of whey protein, you get 100 grams of protein, because that protein is fully bioavailable. This is not. So there's a difference here. When you cook it, do you think it not changes? Do you think it doesn't change when you cook? Of course it does. So when you cook it, it might be more or less bioavailable by that point. So not only does it change in terms of the weight, like the steak, some water evaporates, so the steak is now more calorie dense. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that you might get more protein out of the steak than you would out of the raw meat, or vice versa, you might get less protein out of a cooked steak. You don't know. But then what if you are vitamin deficient? One of the most common deficiencies is vitamin B. Vitamins of group B are not like stored in the body. So if you don't have enough today you lack vitamin B. If you take twice like the required amount today, your body will throw out any excess through urine, like you'll just piss it away, right? So in the end, if you eat twice the dose of vitamin B today and no tomorrow you're deficient. It doesn't matter if you had twice the dose today. Your body removed it, so tomorrow you have no vitamin B again. So if you have a deficiency today, what does vitamin B affect? It affects consumption and digestion of carbohydrates and proteins. So you can have less or more calories from the foods you eat if you have better or less digestion. If you have better or worse digestive system, like today. It can change from day to day, depending on what vitamins are you deficient, on how well your colon, your intestines function today. Again, different amount of calories from same amount of food, from same food. So you can see how inaccurate this is, right? When you get it on the package, it's already an inaccurate number. You cook it, you introduce even more inaccuracies. You consume it, even more inaccuracies. But okay, what happens when you go to a restaurant or a cafe? Holy crap. Like, not to mention, sometimes values on the package are bogus at all, like they're completely bullshit. Like often in Russia, you will just find a pork product will have like 40 grams of fat printed on the label. You take a piece of pork, it has literally almost no white parts in it, but it says 40 grams of fat per 100. If I see 40 grams of fat per 100 grams, I should visually see at least 40% of this meat should be white color. Fat. It's not. But they just copy it like from Wikipedia or whatever. Just a typical protein fat content in pork and just type it on their product label and sell it like this. So it happens. And it's like, if you trust these numbers, you're going to get way off with your calculations of the amount of fats and proteins and carbs in your food. But yeah, what happens when you go to a restaurant? Holy crap. Let's say you go to a restaurant. You get this dish. And the restaurant, as required by law, provides you with the proteins, carbs, and fats in the dish. I assume it's like everywhere like this. Even in Russia, they are legally required to have this information available at your request. So good yet so simple. this especially. It's like mini squash, mini pumpkin, mini zucchini, called pâtisson. It's amazing. So I have this dish at the restaurant. How do you think they come up with these numbers? Do you really believe they took the dish, blended everything into a puree, like universal like smooth puree, evenly mixed, took a part of it and sent it to the laboratory to make an analysis, which will tell you, a spectrograph, it will tell you how many proteins, fats and carbs are in there? Of course not. Most likely they just took the printout for the dish, like the loadout, what goes into the dish, like 100 grams of beef, 50 grams of cucumber, like that, and just multiplied by the calories and the carbs, fats and proteins in the ingredient, and just got the final result by the formula. Again, do you think every dish in a restaurant is cooked with measuring spoons and scales, like precisely measuring the amount of spices and vegetables goes in there? Really? Of course not. Naturally. Like say 1 tablespoon of oil goes to cook the steak. Do you think the cook would take a very clean pan, put 1 tablespoon, and some more, knowing how much will be left, cook the steak, then wipe the pan clean, cook the next steak? Of course not. He's gonna cook the steaks one after the other on the same pan, because it doesn't really get bad if you cook it properly. He'll just keep cooking them. So oil will accumulate more or less. When he sees there's not too much oil, he adds some oil. No way it's gonna be consistent. Or say a chef, he's given this print out this map how to cook the dish, cooks it and tastes it, and he's like, it needs a bit more mayonnaise in here. Adds a bit more mayonnaise, now it's perfect. Do you think he's gonna call the manager, like the owner, and say, change the recipe for this salad? We now use 20 grams of mayonnaise instead of 15 grams of mayonnaise because it's more tasty and customers like it, and please print all the new menus with the new numbers? Of course not. The menus are gonna stay the same, the numbers which customers see are gonna stay the same. The dish they get served is gonna be different. That's how it works. Not to mention sometimes there's an ingredient missing, they will just put something else in bigger amount. Or for example, a new supplier calls you and gives you a better offer for different brand of cream cheese, mayonnaise. So you accept and start to purchase his cream cheese, his mayonnaise. It has a different carbs, fats and proteins on the label. Of course you want to update all these things, right? The menu will stay the same. You want to update it with new numbers. So naturally, numbers you get at cafe, at restaurant, at fast food is way off. This is some barbecue sauce I made today, and it's extremely good. So good. So they even made this, there's this video on YouTube, they made the research, they bought some popular dishes at Starbucks, at Subway, at McDonald's, and they blended them into a puree and sent a sample to a spectrograph, I don't know how it's called in English properly, to get the proper readout of carbs, fats and proteins. Numbers were sometimes correct and sometimes 50% off. It's insane. And again, do you think someone would come to a restaurant, order a dish, take it home, blend it into a puree, send it to analysis, get the results, and sue the restaurant for incorrect results? Of course not. That's not gonna happen. So say if I'm a manager, I know people are conscious about calories. And so I know they will order more if it seems like they can afford more calories. I will tell the person in charge to print numbers which are a bit less than actual numbers. So they are like more attractive, so people can order more. Like reduce calories 10-20%, no one will notice, right? Just so people order more. And no one will get punished for this. No one will know. Like, there's this joint of pizza, Yum Pizza, in Russia. It's very popular. It's one of the top pizza deliveries. And it has these nutrition facts on the website available for the consumer, according to the law. It says 9 grams of carbohydrate is in the 100 grams of pizza. That's completely impossible. It's too little. It should be about 40 grams of carbs. It cannot be like 9 grams of carbs per 100 grams. It's insanely low. They don't serve like a specific keto crust. It's a typical pizza. Typical fat bread on the bottom. But it says 9 grams of carbs. I called them. I'm like, are you sure these are correct nutrition facts? They're like, yes, you have tested them. They're correct. I'm like, okay, thank you. Literally, how did they get this number? I don't even know. They still display it a year after. It's literally insane. And people trust this. People read this and try to count calories. So now you see why calorie counting cannot be even close to accurate. It's simply impossible. There's so many variables. It is impossible. I didn't even mention the fact that you spend variable amount of energy to actually process the nutrients. So for proteins, you spend from 10 to 35% of your energy to process them. So when you have like 100 grams of protein, you get 400 grams of calories, right? Because 4 calories is in 1 gram of protein. No. You spend 40 to what? 140 of these calories to actually consume this protein and turn it into a processable form. So in truth, you consume 360 to 260 calories, not 400. You don't know how much. It's individual, day by day, individual by individual. That's a lot of variance. So you cannot hope to really like have a number of calories you eat and hope to have it like exactly correct. It's going to be way off, that way or this way. Not to mention, on a diet, where it matters most, studies have shown again and again people underestimate the calories they consume. So people forget to add sauces, condiments to the list of things they consumed. People forget to add some small snacks. It racks up during the day, so you get way more calories than you think you get. But okay. I thought I was gonna miss these pies and pizzas. I enjoy so much these baked goods. But actually these steaks are quite good as well. Trying to have some simpler foods for a week or two. It's quite good. Simple yet delicious. So that's only the part which comes in. Calorie counting assumes calories in, calories out. It assumes that if you eat less calories, for example, you will lose weight because you spend the same amount of calories. That's not true at all. So let's say you ate 2,500 calories, a norm for a male, and you start eating 300 less, right? So you want to lose weight. Your body can easily start using 400 less calories. So you're now gaining. You see? It can happen in a way you won't notice. For example, if before you would come home and do some work at the house, like fix stuff, do stuff, maybe go hang out with your friends at the bar, maybe like move around, maybe play some game at the yard, you know? And now you come home, you're like, oh, I'm so good, I handled this day perfectly, I worked well, I'm on a new diet, I'm adhering to this diet, I'm limiting my calories, it works. I can rest and relax and just enjoy myself, I can like give myself a break. So you sit down and watch some lazy sitcom. That way you save calories. You save calories by not walking, not moving, not thinking. Easy. 1 second. It's an easy way for your body to conserve calories. You will feel more cold, like literally you will feel more cold, you will want to get more warm clothes, stay in a warm place. Your body is saving calories. If before you would fiddle around with stuff, be like energetic, a bit uneasy, like unrested, move around, you would like want something, you would stand up and grab it. Now you're more chill, more relaxed, you're like alpha, relaxed mood, just sit and enjoy and sit back, enjoy the view, you know? And you're like more lazy, you like ask people to bring stuff to you. Saving calories. It happens so easily, so automatically. If before you would think about every problem, you would try to figure out all possible solutions, like meticulously, thoroughly examine all the choices, choose the best option. Now you might be like, sure, it's fine. It will work, like take the first solution and go with it. It's okay. Don't need to overcomplicate stuff, you know? And that way your body saves calories. So you can easily be eating a bit less, but spending way less. Now you eat less and you gain weight. Your calorie counting says you should be losing weight, but you're gaining. So not only is the calories in aspect inaccurate at best, it's very inaccurate. Calories out is completely under no control of yours and can change a lot. So what can you hope to achieve with calorie counting? Sure, if you cook similar foods like steaks, fried chicken, vegetable salads, and only that, and you count the calories at the same time always. Like you always count all the fat you put on the pan or whatever other method. In that case, you will be able to use relative numbers to understand how much you consumed. Like if this dish is 1,000, this is 1,500, it's roughly 1.5 times more calories. But then again, you can just go by the size of the portion, right? Just, you know that a bigger portion will be more calories. And if you have, say, a steak here, which says like 500 calories, and you have a steak at the store, at the restaurant, you completely like have two different entities. You cannot compare those calories because you have calculated them in one way with one error, and they with other way, in other way with other errors. It's a completely different number. In truth, it can be like the same calories on your steak and on the menu, and twice the difference. Easily. So is it like, are everybody wasting their time? Is calorie counting completely pointless and useless? And like absolutely a waste of your time? Not really. There is still a benefit to it. But first you have to understand what I just talked about. Never hope to rely on calorie counting to understand how much exactly do you need to eat to lose weight. Yes, in the end, what works is calories in, calories out. In the end, you lose weight or gain weight if you lose or gain calories, if you eat or more or less than what you need. But the way to get there is not going to be an exact number which will tell you, like, this food is enough, this food is too much. No. You will still have to adjust basically by feeding. Like, eat less portions, more portions, eat less of this, more of this. In the end, it's not the calories counting that will help. It's portion control that will help. So what benefits can it have? Well, first of all, it will make you actually think about how much you consume and what. And it's a good thing. Of course, I'm talking not about just calorie counting, like just calories, but protein, what am I saying? Protein, carbs, fats, of course. If you count calories, you'll be forced to look at what you consume, measure portions, and understand what goes into what dish. You'll be able to understand what kind of dish has what kind of nutrients and see how it affects you. What makes you feel full? What makes you feel empty and want more to eat? What kind of food is better for you on a diet? Like you eat a little bit of it, it's a little bit of calories, but you are already quite full and satisfied. Or you eat it and you want more, but you're already way past your carb allowance or your calorie allowance for the day, for the meal, and you're like starving still. You'll be able to accumulate information, and knowledge is power. Knowledge really is power. Information is key in the modern world. You'll have information what kind of foods affect you in what way. Like, how do you feel next morning after a meal before your bed? You'll notice how different food affects you. What kind of food makes you feel light and energetic in the morning? What kind of food makes you tired? How you sleep after what kind of food? How you function in the morning in the first half of the day before you have your meal? You will see it. Like, if you take breakfast, what kind of breakfast gives you what kind of mood in your first half of the day before you take your lunch? What kind of breakfast makes you more productive, more energetic? More capable to work productively. You will see it because you will track your calories, your carbs, proteins, fats, and the meals you take, preferably in the application of sorts. And so you will see it. You will be like, okay, these days I felt crap, today I feel good. What's different between today and these days? What's different the day before? What did I eat? And you will see it. It's going to be clearly visible. You'll also be able to compare different kinds of foods. Like, you'll understand that, for example, this steak is equivalent to this kind of dish plus this kind of dish. So you can see what nutrients are here and there for the same amount of calories relatively. You can see what kind of taste and benefit it provides to you. Like, do you enjoy this or that more? Do you get more full eating this or that? When you want to go, for example, eat quickly, you will need some food which you can eat quickly, which is high in calories and which quickly fills you up. When you need to eat a lot of calories, you need some food which you can eat without getting full of. So you can consume a lot of it, right? You can consume like lots of this food without getting full, without saying, oh, it's too much. When you're on a diet, you need some food which is low on calories, and you can consume it slowly and enjoy it and be full with it without having too much calories. So you can find different foods for you, which work for you. You can find different foods that work for you, and calorie counting will help you. You will pay attention to different foods. In the end, you will start to understand what works and how. Just generally, you will notice more about foods you eat. You will notice more on the package of the foods you eat. You will like look at the package of this, it's full fat and this is reduced fat skim. How do I do it? But it has more protein or it has some additive. You will Google what it is it healthy? Or for example, this good cheese has a lot of fats, this cheese has less fats, but they do it by adding some starch and whatever crap in there. So you're like, I'm better off with full fat cheese than this low calorie cheese. Like this fat in the steak, it should be very tasty. should be edible and quite good. But here is like, it's impossible to chew. I'm sorry. I would love to enjoy it, but Russian steaks. This piece is no good. You have to spit it out. Or like swallow it, which is no use and pointless. Actually quite abhorrent to me. Alright, let's put the rest here and shut this. Another piece. Unedible. Holy crap. There's like a pile of refuse here on the plate of all the unedible parts. Russia. Hardcore steak. So in the end, yes, calorie counting has its uses. It can help you a lot, just not in the way you think it can help you. If you want to know how much you should eat, you should just go according to your goals. If you need to lose weight and you're not losing weight as fast as you want, just lower the portions a little bit. Try to substitute some sauces with sugar for low calorie, zero carb sauces. Make small changes and give yourself a month to see how they affect you. If you don't lose weight still, make another small change. Gradually look for ways to reduce portions, to substitute unhealthy foods for healthy foods, to substitute high calorie foods, remove them from your diet, put some more low calorie foods, reduce the amount of extra sugars, sometimes maybe extra fats, and see. But you can't be just certain that if you ate 2,500, you're gonna lose weight with 2,000 at the rate of about like a pound a week or pound and a half a week. It doesn't work this way. Unfortunately, it does not. It never will. It just won't. In theory, it should. In practice, it is indeed calories in, calories out. You lose weight because you consume less than you spend, right? But in practice, the problem is the counting part. The consuming and the spending part and the difference, it works. But you cannot estimate how much you consume and how much you spend properly. It's immeasurable, it's too inaccurate to give you any exact number you can rely upon. It's just there as a general guideline which can help you understand like what do you eat and how what you change will affect you. Say if I eat this dish 2 times a week, and now I change one of these steaks for a lean chicken breast, which is cooked on the steam, I can understand that it will be less calories if I calculate them. I can understand I'm going to remove some of the fats from my diet if I do this change, right? For that, it works. Otherwise, it doesn't. Same thing, like I can understand that I can change this cheese for a skim cheese, and this way I will consume less calories, but I'll consume less fats and more protein. Or eat a smaller portion of this cheese. Again, less calories, but more fats, less protein. When trying to go healthy, you can actually get into a problem where you eat too much protein or too little fats. So, calorie counting can help you see it. Calorie counting can help you see it. Here, you swapped for a lower calorie version, which increased the amount of protein, reduced the amount of fats. Here you swapped, reduced the amount of fats, increased the amount of carbohydrates, and here, and you can see how it works. So you can see like I should stop swapping for lower fat options and start to try to remove extra sugars, extra starches, like go for 0 calorie sauce instead of a full sauce which has lots of sugar. And say you go like this, instead of reducing the amount of fats here, I will just cut the portion size. So instead of putting a chicken breast here, I will just reduce the size of the steak. Cut in half and eat just 1.5 steak, not 2 steaks. Like that. So good. So simple. It's so good. These as well. I'm really amazed. It turned out better than restaurant already. My 6th attempt at cooking steaks, and very good. Alright, now, with the magic of video editing, I'll be back with some dessert. So usually you see me go for these low-calorie desserts. You're gonna see some high-calorie desserts. This is some keto dessert madness, right? So I have some crepes, wraps made from eggs with some buttercream in there. So this one is low-calorie. It's made from spread, which is 40% fat. And this one is made from butter, which is like full 80% fat butter. And these are keto fudges. These are made from coconut oil, and it's like literally almost 100% fat in this thing. It's ridiculous. So let's try this one first. This one is from a spread, so it's twice as little calories, but it's kind of soft, like you can see maybe it's like it squeezes out. And it's hard to really enjoy it slowly because it just gets liquid so quickly in your mouth and you just swallow it. And you'll see in a moment where I need this glove here. It's quite good. It's very delicious. It has this buttery, sweet taste. Of course, there's no sugar in there. It's just egg, spread, and sweetener. It's deliciously fresh and sweet. But like 1 minute and it's gone. This thing, however, you can really enjoy it slowly. It's from butter, again with some sweetener, vanilla flavor. And it's way better. You can really slowly enjoy small bites of this as a proper dessert. And now this, it's very delicious, but you have to have gloves here because it literally melts. It's from coconut oil. It's from a very respectable, popular blog, the recipe, but I really don't understand what she wants to achieve with this, because it starts melting immediately. She says you have to take it out from the fridge and leave it at room temperature for some time. It's gonna be a mess. It's right now from the fridge. You can eat this. I'm gonna add some sweetener because I feel it's not sweet enough. A bit of more sweetener would do it very good, but it's already made, so I have to add externally. It's extremely tasty. It's basically just coconut oil, chocolate, cocoa, and sweetener, and salt, of course, and some vanilla flavor, but it's so good. But again, it's so high in calories. This small thing right here is 180 calories. I guess maybe it's okay for a dessert, right? But for me, it's just crazy. I'm used to these low-calorie desserts, and this is like such a bomb of calories. And again, you can enjoy it so slowly, and you really enjoy it so much because it's such a high amount of calories coming into your system so quickly, and they are so easily digested. Your body is like, holy crap, it's such a cool kind of food. We need to get more of this. It's also sweet, so it triggers this bliss point where it's ideal sweetness, amount of fat and salt. It's very delicious. But like, it's very high in calories. As you can see, it melts quite severely on your hands, so having a glove here is very beneficial, because it's like quite a mess otherwise. It's coconut oil. It's supposed to melt at room temperature almost. In a hot room, it's gonna already melt. It melts a bit faster than butter, so if you make this from butter, it's going to be way more sustainable, I think. It's also going to be less calories in that case. I'm going to actually see and compare like this to butter version. And this one, which is from low calorie spread, is just no good. I need to find a way to make this like more thick and sturdy if I want to make this. Otherwise, just doesn't compare to this one with butter, unfortunately. That is in terms of texture, of course. In terms of taste, these all taste freaking amazing. They are so good. Again, because they are so freaking high in calories. It's ridiculous. It's such a bliss, and it's just paradise. It's just pure ecstasy. Like, Literally, it's so good. Perfect keto dessert. Literally. And again, these are some eggs, some butter, some spread. So there's still like kinda reasonable amount of calories in them per 100 grams. This thing is just almost pure fat. So this is just a fat bomb. It's like literally the fat bomb because it's almost 100% fat. It's almost 900 calories per 100 grams. Holy crap. And since it's also sweet, it just blows your mind. Because to your mind, it's like it's a food which cannot exist. Because it's almost fully fat, it's also sweet. Like, how can this be? It's like this food defies laws of physics. It has more calories than it can theoretically have. That's what you taste when you taste it. That's how you get so much pleasure eating this. It's like a drug, really. Because you're not supposed to have this kind of food ever to exist. To have some carbs in a dessert, it has to have less fats per 100 grams, at least for the equal amount that you put carbs there. And since this is a concentrated sweetener, it's 5 times sweeter sugar. To have this kind of sweetness, you would have to put quite a lot of sugar there. So you would reduce the fat quite a lot, but here it's still almost pure fat. So it feels just insane and impossible when you taste it. And that's why it's just magnificent. It's so good. It's so friggin' good, you wouldn't believe it. It's simply amazing. Anyways, thank you all very much for being with me today. Make sure you subscribe and have turned on notifications so that you'll be the first one to know when I release another Keto Mukbang video. And then check out this playlist right here for more Keto Mukbangs that you will definitely enjoy. I love you all, and see you all again real soon.